Hello everyone, I'm Chen, a PhD student working with Professor Zhicheng at Department of Computer Science of University of Maryland. Today, I'm presenting our state-of-the-art survey in creating visualization corpora for automated chart analysis. Recent advances in automated chart analysis techniques seek to enable more effective retrieval, creation, interpretation, and reasoning over data visualizations. Behind each technique lies an automated or semi-automated model that is built or trained upon some chart corpus. An example is the RGV system by Poco and Here, where they manually collected more than 4,000 charts from 3 different sources, annotated bounding boxes, contents, and rows of text elements. The corpus is used to evaluate the performance of their text extraction and classification pipeline. However, as we investigate in the automatic chart analysis research, we have observed that many systems didn't make their corpora or annotations available online, release their annotations tools, if any, or systematically examine the model performance under different chart corpora. Meanwhile, there has been little research on the standard process to collect good chart corpora for various tasks and applications, and a few discussions on the potential pitfalls and gaps in existing corpus-based automated chart analysis research. In general, current state of creating and using chart corpora seems to be ad hoc, making it hard to compare different approaches, measure scientific advances, and identify underexplored research questions. To this end, we aim to summarize common and standard practices to create chart corpora, identify research gaps and opportunities in corpus-based automated chart analysis research, recommend desired properties of benchmark corpora to be created to support the research investigations, and discuss research ideas on tools and methods for creating the desired benchmark corpora. In the following, we will first introduce the survey method and its results that include a why, how, what task taxonomy and 5 key corpus properties. We then discuss research opportunities and future directions. We started with the papers included in 2 recent surveys on artificial intelligence approaches and machine learning methods for data visualization. Both surveys cover publications from a variety of disciplines, such as visualization, human-computer interaction, artificial intelligence, and natural language processing. We identify papers satisfying the following 3 criteria. First, the primary contribution is either a chart corpus or an automated chart analysis technique developed on a chart corpus. Second, the paper contains sufficient descriptions of the corpus. And third, the charts are statistical data graphics or infographics without 3D effects. This round of search collects 41 papers, in other words, 41 corpora. We further augment this initial set with another round of relation search through Google Scholar and remove papers before 2007 to remain the same year span, leading to our final collection of 56 papers and corpora. Here is the scatter plot overview of 56 chart corpora we collected, where x-axis represents the publication year, y-axis represents the corpus size in the log scale, and dot color represents the publication area. We can see that recent corpora tend to have larger sizes, and the 3 most frequent publication venues are visualization, AI, and HCI. We first adopt a bottom-up coding method to identify the goals of performed tasks in the surveyed papers. They are create a chart corpus, which aims at introducing a chart collection for certain chart types or analysis tasks. For example, the BIGO dataset containing SVG visualizations from 5 online repositories introduced by Battle, etc. Extract chart semantics, which aim at obtaining useful semantic information for various downstream applications. For example, the RGV system by Pogo and Here that recovers visual encodings from charts. Modify an existing chart, which transforms a chart for new context or data sets. An example is the revision system by Sava, etc. that automatically generates alternative chart designs. Generate chart designs automatically, which learns from a corpus of charts about existing visual mappings and automatically generates new charts for a given data set or task. For example, the VisML system trained on our large-scale Plotly chart corpus that does design choice recommendation based on data tables. Retrieve charts matching certain criteria, which is about searching from a chart database for charts meeting some requirements. For example, the D3 chart search engine developed by Hoke and Agrawala. And generates natural language descriptions, where information in the charts is transformed into natural language forms for purposes such as enhanced accessibility. An example is the chart QA system by Masri, etc. The next how dimension refers to the methods used by the tasks, including modern neural networks, classic machine learning methods, and heuristic-based algorithms. The what dimension represents outputs of the tasks, including chart components, synthesized descriptions, and derived properties. Based on the task taxonomy, we then discuss in detail 5 key corpus properties: format, scope, collection method, annotations, and diversity. For the format property, we discuss 3 types: bitmaps, which are rectangular arrays of colored pixels; SVGs, XML-based vector graphics; and programs, computer code snippets that generate charts. We categorize the format types in each corpus and present the usage frequency across task goals and task methods. Note that one corpus can contain multiple format types. As we can see, bitmap is the most popular format type, especially in Corpora for neural network-based systems. As the least used format, usage scenarios of programs highly depends on their language-specific grammars and structures. For example, Kim, etc. extracted encodings and raw data from Vega-Lite visualizations to perform chart question answering. Also, both the database system by Debia and Demirala and Viz Commander system by Opperman, etc. are treating visualization programs as plain texts to extract features and perform retrieval. In the following, we focus on the comparison between bitmap and SVG. Researchers have been utilizing the semantic information embedded in SVGs to facilitate their chart analysis research. For example, the chart QA system by Mastery, etc. extracted bounding boxes of chart elements to train their data extraction model. The REV system by Poco and Here passed text elements in SVGs, which serve as the first step towards their data encoding recovery. However, for the same chart, semantic information embedded in SVGs produced by different tools can be very different. Here is 3 SVGs from 3 tools: Mascot, Plotly, and Vega-Lite, for the same group bar chart shown on the left. We can first notice that Mascot is using rectangle elements to represent bars, while the other 2 are using path elements. Furthermore, a rectangle group in Mascot corresponds to the bars sharing the same X label. A rectangle group in Plotly corresponds to the bars sharing the same color. And a rectangle group in Vega-Lite contains all bars in the chart. This phenomenon of inconsistent semantics doesn't exist in bitmap images because bitmaps are fully rendered regardless of the engine behind. Also, bitmaps are naturally compatible with convolutional neural networks. As indicated in the usage frequency figure, bitmap format is usually the first choice for many end-to-end neural network-based systems. SVGs, on the other hand, could be better analyzed by graph neural networks. The work by Li etc. has demonstrated that bitmap-based image retrieval can be improved by augmenting a structure-aware thread, as shown in the figure, which utilizes graph neural network to encode structural information. This is one of the first several works that try to adopt graph neural network to analyze chart images, and graph neural net-based SVG understanding remains underexplored. We next introduce scope, the assumptions or inclusion criteria about the properties of charts in a corpus, which are primarily for framing a feasible research question. 2 kinds of scopes are identified: chart type and design variation. We first record the chart types included in each corpus and summarize their usage frequency. From this table, we can see that bar, line, pie charts, and scatter plots are the most frequently ones, which is consistent with the statistics from the Beagle dataset, where line and bar charts dominate its collections. The popularity of these chart types can be attributed to their effectiveness in visualizing numerical data and conveying trends and relationships, as well as their simplicity and interpretability. Infographics, maps, and area charts, typically of special usages, are less frequently included and appear in about 70% of all the corpora respectively. The other chart types, such as donut charts and tick plots, are rarely considered, potentially due to their relatively scarce presence on the web and increased visual structure complexity. We then group the number of chart types in each corpus by task goals to create this box plot. From top to bottom, the tasks involve fewer and fewer chart types, indicating an increasing analysis difficulty. We further break down the box plot to present the clusters of chart corpora based on both the chart task goals and methods, where each dot represents a corpus whose size encodes the number of chart types in it. We can see that the corpora used for neural networks or classic machine learning models tend to contain more chart types, which is possibly due to the higher representational capacities of the two methods compared to heuristic-based algorithms. Collection method describes how the charts in a corpus were collected, which is influenced by both the chart format and the corpus scope. We have observed 4 kinds of collection methods: reusing and transforming existing ones, web crawling, manual curation, and computer-aided generation. Out of the 56 surveyed corpora, 17 of them are online available. 9 were generated by modifying existing corpora, and only 4 were completely reused in later works. 2 kinds of transformations have been observed. First, adding new charts to increase size or diversity, which is straightforward. And second, adding new annotations to support new tasks. For example, adding question answering pair annotations to support chart question answering tasks. Web crawling serves as a popular way to quickly gather a large number of charts satisfying some requirements from certain sources. We record the frequently crawled sources, and please refer to the paper for more details. One disadvantage of web crawling is that the process is oftentimes automatic, and controlling the quality of collected charts could be expensive. So, in cases where the quality or diversity of chart designs matters more than the corpus size, researchers also collect chart corpora manually without the help of automated crawlers. As the manual process goes, people can decide which charts to include with care, and the sources for web crawling are still useful. The last method, computer-aided generation, is to use computer charting tools to create a synthetic corpus. Here, we list people's practices to prepare the raw data and the frequently used charting tools. For more details, please refer to the paper. We group sizes of the surveyed corpora by collection methods to present this box plot, showing that generally, web crawling leads to larger corpora and manual curation leads to smaller ones, which is within our expectation. We then discussed annotations. Annotations are labels for charts that serve as ground truths for chart analysis tasks. However, the needed labels are usually not provided in the collecting sources, and the battle structure reported that different sources have inconsistent metadata, which makes automatic labeling difficult. So it is actually necessary in most cases for researchers to annotate their chart corpora as needed. To understand annotations, we first record and summarize the commonly observed annotation types that researchers have been using. As we can see, annotations like bounding boxes and chart types, which are useful in many tasks, are very frequently used, while similarities and saliency maps that serve some specific tasks are only seen in a few works. We further note 4 kinds of methods that people are using to obtain desired annotations. They are in-house labeling, where a small group of people gathers to annotate collected charts manually. Crowdsourcing, where researchers use platforms such as Amazon's mTurk to distribute online annotation jobs to participants and obtain wanted labels. Template-based generation, which is specifically used for generating natural language descriptions such as question answering pairs and chart caption pairs. They can also be obtained from crowdsourcing. Compared to it, template-based generation can be less expensive, but more stiff regarding linguistic variations. And automatic extraction. which only works in scenarios where the charts are from Excel sheets, so that certain APIs can be called to automatically gather useful labels. Last but not least, we discussed the fifth corpus property, diversity, which measures how much the charts differ from one another. It is an important while underexplored property that has significant impact on the generalizability of developed techniques. Let's use the work by Li, etc. to illustrate the importance of diversity. As we mentioned earlier, the authors are using graph neural network to encode structures of SVG charts based on a plotly produced chart corpus. However, their method of forming a graph from SVGs, as shown here, is based on the default SVG grouping structure, which can be very different for the same chart, but produced by different tools, as we have shown before. Thus, the authors discussed in the paper that the system could fail for charts from tools like D3 and Data Illustrator, where the SVG structure are more manageable, and listed this as a major limitation. We further abstracted researchers' common practices to enhance corpus diversity. The aspects that can be utilized to enhance diversity are source websites, chart topics, chart creators, Scholar document repositories, underlying datasets, style parameters, and visual questions and captions. If interested in the details, please refer to the papers. Based on the survey, we further discuss underexplored research opportunities. First, chart topologies used in the surveyed papers are sometimes not consistent. Also, it is possible that a chart design may be classified into more than just one chart type. Here are two examples. The left chart can be described by both spiral chart and heat map, and the right one can be described as a growth bar chart and a stack bar chart. Instead of high-level chart topologies, a set of feature tags can be a better way to describe a given chart. Taking a step further, we shall think about how modern charting tools generate visualizations. They have long moved beyond chart types to adopt the grammar of graphics paradigm. More research needs to be investigated to make it generalizable to a broader range of charts and tasks. Second, chart quality is underexplored in design recommendation tasks compared to chart similarity. Here we quote from Beckel, etc. that sometimes alternative or bespoke designs are more helpful than similarity for broadening the scope of design consideration. Third, as we discussed before, diversity influences the generalizability of models. How to make robust systems that take inputs from diverse sources and output consistent results is another important research question. Also, current research on automatic generation of chart designs mostly relies on a chart corpus in the program format from a single charting tool, which limits corpus diversity and in turn hurts the diversity of generated designs. Ample research opportunities are available when we include Corpora in SVG or bitmap formats as the basis for chart generation, which require novel techniques to synthesize visual structures and designs from various sources. Furthermore, to date, there have been no metrics to quantify or measure diversity. There is a clear need for systematic methods to evaluate chart diversity within a corpus and compare diversity between corpora. Such methods can guide chart selection processes and enhance the rigor of automated chart analysis research. Lastly, in interactive and animated SVG charts, the logic for interactions and animations is usually specified using JavaScript rather than being part of the SVG specification. How to automatically capture, represent, understand, and extract interactivity and animation remains underexplored and would potentially facilitate new research ideas. After identifying the underexplored research opportunities, we further propose desired properties of benchmark chart corpora that could help in those directions. First, enhanced chart diversity within a corpus, for which little research have been observed in terms of chart format. It is ideal that the benchmark corpus contains multiple formats, combines their advantages, and maintain the same set of annotations. Second, most of the existing annotations are either at the chart level, such as chart type and row data table, or about position information, such as element bounding boxes. Only a few corpora contain finer-grained annotations at the chart component level, like encodings and layouts, which require deep extraction of semantics, while they usually have a narrow scope and limited diversity. A reusable benchmark corpus should have multi-level fine-grained annotations, which support a wide range of tasks. Third, ideally, a benchmark corpus also contains meta-information or annotations about the interactive or animated behaviors. Two aspects shall be researched: the semantic abstractions or tags for describing interactivity and animation, and the methods for capturing and understanding interactivity and animation. To create qualified benchmark chart corpora, we also note 3 preliminary tools that would be useful. First, we have observed that the composition structure of SVG charts on the web can be random, such as one single SVG chart are represented by several different SVG elements in the web page. So if we want to gather SVG charts quickly by web crawling, there are special cases where the web crawler needs to take additional care to collect a complete SVG file. Second, we need tools to accurately process collected charts to unify their formats, which includes, but is not limited to, resizing bitmaps and extracting and unifying embedded semantic information in SVG charts. More importantly, high-quality annotations is generally expensive and time-consuming, while they are inevitable for benchmark corpora. To this end, dedicated research in human-AI collaboration for the annotation process is necessary. To achieve an effective mixed initiative labeling system, we need to consider for each annotation type what steps can be automated by the computers and what steps shall be cooperated or examined by humans. This human-in-the-loop annotation process is expected to significantly reduce the cost of obtaining annotations and boost the research in automated chart analysis. Thanks for listening. I would like to thank my advisor, Professor Liu, for his guidance. Feel free to contact me if you have any questions.